the schedule's been set up. The appointment's been set. It's for 2:00 tomorrow. And today, the AMC or the client cancels. Do you just not show up?
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Good afternoon, listeners. Well, at least it's afternoon where I am. Quick minisode, very quick minisode for you. Just a thought, just an idea that occurred to me based on a situation that I had just today. I want to remind you, of course, we are sponsored by ANOW software. ANOW is the software that, honestly, I was in 30 seconds ago. Right before I jumped on this podcast, I jumped in ANOW to find something out. Actually, we added another user to our ANOW system, which is exciting and fun. And boy, I tell you, ANOW is great to work with. If you've not checked them out, do so now. Go to anow.com/coach. One more time. It is anow.com/coach. Well, folks, we've all been there. We have received an assignment from a lender, a client, an AMC, what have you. We've got an engagement letter in hand. We do some prelim work. We put everything together. We set up the appointment, and let's say the appointment's set for 2:00 this afternoon. And about, 1:00. Well, let's even make it a little bit less time constraining. Let's say the day before. Okay, the day before, the client calls, emails, sends a message, what have you, and says, this deal is canceled. Okay, two things now are on the table. First of all, do you charge for what you've done so far? And I did put out a mini-sode just a couple of weeks ago on this very issue, and I addressed that. I'll just let the cat out of the bag. You can certainly go back, and I would go back and listen to that mini-sode because there's some information in there I think is helpful in these situations. But the answer is yes. I don't just charge a drive fee, folks. I don't just charge a trip fee, as they might call them. I try to charge a prelim fee. We do a lot of work before we actually go out there. One of the reasons we are efficient and effective at what we do here at Appraisal Precision is that we don't wait till the last minute to get things done. We start the minute it starts coming in, and we've got a process that we go through that keeps our quality high and our efficiency strong. And we start that immediately. And there's several man hours that are going into an appraisal process before we ever show up on the doorstep. And so, going out to a property and getting canceled at the door is not just a small thing. It's not just the half hour it took us to drive from the office to the appointment. It's also the man hours, the data collection, the research, the development that has already started and gone into the process before we ever get in the car. And we expect to be paid for our time. And I know some of you are jumping up and down and saying, well, Dustin, my AMCs refuse to pay that kind of fee. Okay, stop working for those AMCs. That sounds like a Y client to me. I'm not saying that all of my clients will either. They might be on the B client role, and maybe in other ways they make up for the lacking in that area. But I'll tell you, folks, when you're dealing with clients and they're constantly not treating you like a professional, then why in the world do you keep working for them again? You might want to think through that. But that's not the purpose of today's minisode. Today's minisode is who's responsible for reaching out now to the borrower. You've set up the appointment, or your office has, as the case may be. I rarely set up my own schedule, but the schedule's been set up. The appointment's been set. It's for 2:00 tomorrow, and today the AMC or the client cancels. Do you just not show up? Who's responsible to reach out to the borrower, the homeowner, the contact, and let them know that you're not coming? I'll tell you one thing to keep track of all of this, what goes on in every single appraisal, and that's ANOW software. I love ANOW because it allows me to be able to completely control the process from start to finish. As the administrator, the user that's the administrator on the account, I see everything. And I can split my office into different users, appraisers, data entry clerks, receptionists, you name it, and give them different access to different things. And I love that. I love being in control of my office, and I love knowing at all times what's going on with the appraisals that I am working on. You will too if you're using ANow. If you're not, you need to be. Go to anow.com/coach. Why /coach? You can go to anow.com. Sure, go for it. You'll get right there. You'll sign up. You'll love it. But I'll tell you, if you put /coach at the end, you'll get 3 months free to my All-Star team. Folks, if you've not tried out my All-Star team, holy cow, you need to try them out. It's awesome. Usually $9 a month, but if you try it at anow.com/coach, you get it for 3 months to check it out, to try it, to use and abuse it, and then hopefully you'll stay on. I know you will, because it's a great, great group of people across the nation who are improving their lives every day as real estate appraisers. They do it through ANow. They do it through the Appraiser Coach All-Star Team. You need to do it through both. Go to anow.com/coach. And we got a new sponsor here today. It's called Update Master. It's amazing, folks. You get tired of those calls, those emails, the update requests constantly from the AMCs that you're working with. I know you do, folks. I get it too. Constantly they're asking you, did you set up the appointment? Did you go to the appointment? Did you do this? Did you do that? When are you going to have the report in? Folks, you don't have to deal with any of that anymore just by getting Update Master. What is it? Update Master is the ability to be able to keep track of all of your assignments and be able to update the client on a regular basis with what's going on. Now, you do have to put a little chip in your head. It goes right behind your eyebrow, kind of on the temple side. Either side's fine, whatever your bad side is. So, when you're taking a picture, you kind of turn that one side against the camera. That's probably the side you're going to want to choose. It's very quick. It's very harmless. It hurts a little bit, but it's an in and out day surgery. And you just go into any doctor's office, just say, I want the AMC special, and they will implant that chip into your brain. So basically all you have to do is think about updating the client. It will automatically transmit through Wi-Fi back to the office, through the system, and whatever system they have for updating, whether it be phone call, whether it be email, whether it be their portal online. Sorry, I can't do this with a straight face anymore, folks. You would not believe how often people actually believe what I'm saying Anyway, back on track. Update Master, it's the ability to be able to just think about updating the client, and it is done for you. I'll tell you, your clients will praise your name. They will love you. They will send you all their business. It is well worth the minor surgery it's going to take to put this in your brain, to hook up to the computer. It's a little bit intrusive. Yeah, I know it's a little Big Brother-ish, little 1984, but that's okay because that's the world we're living in, folks. Want to get updates faster? You can now with Update Master. All right, folks, we are back having a little fun here today. I'll tell you what's not fun is to set up an appointment with a homeowner, a realtor, a contact of some sort to do the observation at a home and have the client cancel. And the next thing you know, you get a call from an angry homeowner or agent or contact the next day saying, where are you? It's happened to us on various occasions. We were under the understanding that when a cancellation occurs, that it is the responsibility of the client to update the homeowner and say, oh, by the way, that appointment that you have tomorrow at 2:00 is now canceled. Don't stay home from work. Don't cancel your appointments. Don't worry about it because the appraiser is not going to be there. Well, guess what? That does not always happen. And so the question on the table is, whose responsibility is it to update the homeowner and let them know that we're not coming? Now, I'm going to parse this a little bit and say I think that the answer to this is actually twofold. As it was asked, whose responsibility is it to update the homeowner? I would say definitively it is the individual who is in charge of the process, which is the client. Okay, they're the ones that started it in motion. They're the ones, for whatever reason, it canceled. And, sometimes it's the borrower that cancels, and yet they still expect the appraiser to show up. I've seen that happen where we've been told by the lender that the borrower canceled, therefore don't go out there. And then the next day we get an angry phone call from the homeowner wondering where we are. And we say, this was canceled. And they say, it was. In other words, there can be a huge, huge chasm between what should happen and what actually does happen, or the understanding that should be had versus the understanding that is actually had. And so here's the thing. Who's responsible to call the homeowner? The client. Who should call the homeowner? Don't shoot me, but you should. Why? Just because I don't like to put people out, just because I don't want somebody being angry at. And by the way, when you get a negative review in Google or Yelp or the Better Business Bureau or wherever they might go, or the state board, right? When you get that negative review, a lot of times a homeowner does not even understand the process. They don't understand, for example, that you have a client, that you have an AMC that you're working with, that the AMC told you one thing and obviously didn't communicate that with the borrower. They don't care. They took work off, you didn't show up, and they're angry, okay? So I would just, in my opinion, is it your responsibility to call? No, but I think you're going to avoid a whole lot of headache and a whole lot of discomfort, if you will, and maybe some negative reviews if you just take the responsibility to pick up the phone and say, hey, you know that appointment we have for 2:00 tomorrow? Well, it is canceled. By the way, little side note here, what I have found sometimes happens is we actually are able to recover a lost order this way. So an order comes in, we've done some prelim work. Let's say we've spent 2 to 2.5 man hours on this report. And then the client says, hey, cancellation for whatever reason. And so you call up the homeowner and you say, hey, I just want to let you know that we just got notice that this has been canceled. And they will say, why? Well, we don't really know. You might want to contact your lender. And the next thing you know, it's back on again. I don't exactly know what goes on in the background, but sometimes there's just misunderstandings. And sometimes we're able to recover an order that was lost just by having the common sense and the common courtesy and the customer service to pick up the phone and call the homeowner and let them know that we won't be there. That's my opinion. What is yours? Love to have you comment below. We talked earlier about the All-Star team. If you would like to join us, of course, go to anow.com/coach to get 3 free months. But if you just want to join the All-Star team direct, you're not quite ready for Anow software, you should be. But if you're not, jump on my website, theappraisercoach.com. And go to memberships. Check out the memberships that we have available for $9 a month. You can join us, get a newsletter, 8 pages, folks, chock full of marketing ideas, chock full of every single month. I write what's called the chalkboard section. It is 1,500 words of very detailed information about how I run my office and why my office is so much different than my colleagues. Check it out. Go to theappraisercoach.com/memberships and click on the All-Star team today.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.